All right, we are going to go ahead and get started with our first breakout session of the morning. We welcome you and glad you could be here with us for this CAPSA symposium and our first session, breakout sessions of the day. If you would, please put we can see your names, but if you'd put your full first and last name and the organization you represent, and maybe even the job you do with that organization, if it's not self-evident, just by way of letting us all know who's on this call with us, that would be cool. So put your name and organization in the chat box. And I would like to welcome Gina Caldwell. And I'm going to let her introduce herself as far as what she does and a little bit of her background and so forth. But we are, on behalf of the Missouri After School Network, we welcome you. Glad to have everyone on board. And I'm going to turn it over to Gina. Gina, thank you.
Thank you, Clint. I'm very excited to be here. I am Gina Caldwell. I'm the Apprenticeship and Work-Based Learning Manager for the state of Missouri. I am with Apprenticeship Missouri underneath the Office of Workforce Development within the Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development. I'm very pleased to be here and supportive of the Missouri After School Network and the CAPSA Symposium. Got to participate a little bit over the past year and just feel so excited about what we can do whenever we bring or come together and start talking about the pathways that we can get Missourians onto. So today I'm going to be talking about some specific learning pathways that we have available through Apprenticeship Missouri. These pathways are accessible to almost all Missourians over the age of 18. So you might think that, oh, well, I have students younger than that. Well, we have pathways for that too. So we have a little something for everybody today. So these online learning pathways that we talk today, we're eager to be able to showcase them, maybe even meet with you after we do this presentation. I'll have my contact information at the end if you want to connect and continue the conversation. Let's get started. So I wanted to do a quick overview of apprenticeship, the earn and learn model that we have. This is a tried and true proven method for training. It is a paid job. So number one, that's awesome. It's a chance to learn while you are earning a wage. And you can consider it a mentored learning experience because there's on-the-job training combined with related coursework that is provided either through a training provider that might be a college or some other training provider. It could be actually provided by an employer. It could be online learning like we'll talk about today, or it could be correspondence work, or sometimes we even have apprenticeship sponsors that send people to corporate training, maybe in another state. All of that works as long as it's what the employer wants. The on-the-job training is supervised by a mentor, and that's the more experienced workers on the job. So think of veteran staff, people who could come alongside and be able to teach a new recruit or somebody who's new into a particular role all the best ways to do the job and supervise that they're doing the job correctly and meeting the standards of a registered apprenticeship. And speaking of standards, once an apprentice completes all of the specified standards and competencies of a registered apprenticeship, they complete all of their training, they earn an industry or a nationally recognized credential that actually is specific to their industry and recognized across the nation for that specific occupation. And that's a USDOL credential. It's something that can travel with them. It's portable, highly valuable by whatever industry that the individual receives training in. And it allows someone to be able to sometimes articulate that into college credit. So this is a way to access post-secondary education as well. So furthering on into the apprenticeship model, here's a comparison of what the learning experience could look like for an individual who is interested in a tech occupation. So on the top model or the pathway, you're going to see a traditional method of maybe someone who pursues education to be able to work in the tech industry. So their first line of what do I do next starts with pursuing their education. So maybe they go to college. This means that they're going to learn in a classroom. They might learn through an internship. They might have the opportunity to work a little bit and be able to learn on the job. But who knows what it looks like exactly, because every training provider is kind of different. After they go through their coursework, they typically, hopefully, would graduate and then apply for a job and get hired, and then start seemingly all over again with your new employee training. Because once you're onboarding at a new employer, you realize, oh, I never stop learning and I'm always going to be a learner. Eventually, after being on the job, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, that new employee becomes at the productivity level that an employer desires them to be at. So we're going to compare that to the bottom level here, which is the option for an individual who's interested in tech to pursue apprenticeship. Okay, so if they pursue apprenticeship, they have the opportunity to learn on the job and in the classroom, but it could be happening simultaneously. They can complete the standards of their classroom work and on the job, specifically to the exact job that they have entered into. So everything that they do is going to be relevant to the occupation that they are pursuing their education for. And then they have the opportunity to be connected with an employer, and then that employer hires them. Through this type of pathway, they have the opportunity to earn and learn while they were hoping to find placement with an employer. And so typically, they've been on the job for a while. They have not required, once they are hired, to receive additional training, and they become more productive a lot faster. And so apprenticeship is the opportunity to actually be learning while you're earning a wage and be prepared and more productive in a faster route. And I just quickly wanted to hit on the benefits to apprentices. An apprentice is earning while learning. This reduces their educational debt. Typically, an apprenticeship, a lot of times, is paid for by an employer. There are other funding sources that can help to offset the costs of training. They are earning recognized credentials, no matter where they are receiving their training. It's recognized because it has a value to the U.S. Department of Labor, and that translates the same all across the United States. They're gaining workplace relevant skills in occupations that are in high demand, and they are creating a foundation for a career path, not just a job. So one of the things that's highly valued by apprentices is that they can look across the organization that they're choosing to join with an apprenticeship and be able to see how their career pathway can progress. That's one of the things that's very valued by individuals that are choosing, what do I want to do for my next right thing? So if I'm going to go the education route, what's this look like for me in 5 years? What's this look like for me in 10 years? We know that people don't stay in jobs for lifetimes anymore. So where's my chance to grow? Where's my opportunity to not just earn this first credential, but how is this employer going to encourage me to continually learn? An employer that chooses apprenticeship really does encourage a culture of learning amongst their workforce. And a lot of times those are the same employers that invest in incumbent worker training options, that they look for the types of things that will be relevant to their workforce to keep them advancing with technology and be able to grow with the demands of the economy. I wanted to give a quick plug here to Missouri's Apprenticeship Portal. Missouri Apprentice Connect is a free matchmaking tool for employers and anyone who would be interested in being an apprentice. On that portal, you can actually view an apprenticeship playbook. The playbook gives you access to a lot of information about apprenticeship and what it means to be engaged with it, whether you are seeking to be an apprentice, whether you're an employer, or maybe you offer training already and you're a training provider. You have the opportunity to learn just a little bit more, maybe even to share that information around the kitchen table. Missouri's Apprenticeship Portal is the option, Missouri Apprentice Connect, to be able to build a profile that helps you get noticed if you want to be an apprentice. It's also free for employers that have registered apprenticeships to post on that website. So very much would like you to know about that. Get on there, explore. You're not going to break anything. Check it out. Be able to use that free resource that is brought to you by a partnership between Workforce Development and Missouri Chamber. So why we're all here is to learn about these online virtual learning platforms that we now have for offer through the Office of Workforce Development in Apprenticeship, Missouri. I'm particularly interested in how we can use these virtual learning platforms to be able to build bridges, help to offer gateway certifications, help to eliminate the gaps that we might have in our education systems or the things that we offer already through curated and specific trainings. But we can only do that if we're engaging with those that are in need of the training. So if you're listening today, the virtual learning platforms that I talk about today could be a solution for you. It might be a solution for someone that you know, maybe someone in your family, maybe the Missouri citizens that you serve. And so whenever you are learning about these platforms, please be of a mind that these are available to Missourians over the age of 18, that this is a training that can be engaged in. We also have some things that I'll talk about that we can engage with below 18 as well. So I'm going to start off with talking about Coursera. Coursera has been a phenomenal way to engage learners in Missouri. Over the past year, we've been able to engage over 1,000 learners through Coursera, offering training in a wide variety of content that is based on the interests and needs of the learner. Whenever COVID hit and we had to be nimble and agile to adjust to the needs of the workforce and their training needs, Coursera was there. And so Coursera has allowed us to offer access to over 5,000 online courses to Missourians. These are self-paced. They are offered by well-respected training providers, great companies, and they are just put together very well and highly accessible. Coursera is basically our Missouri portal to learning beyond our borders even. So Coursera gives us a lot of options to be able to engage learners where they're at and with what they need. And that is really something that we believe in quite strongly, is being able to meet Missouri citizens where they are and offer something that they need. So if you're wondering, like, okay, engaging 18 or older, just kind of think about this a little bit. Anybody over the age of 18 that would have a need for training could find a reason why they would want to engage with Coursera. These courses, they're self-paced. They can earn industry recognized professional certifications. They actually have a mobile app that makes learning easy on the go. And it is a great way to directly tie your learning that you're doing to your online profiles, such as on LinkedIn, or to be able to boost up your resume, make it look a little bit nicer with some certifications that you could add just by your own grit, your own determination that you're going to do this. We're happy to provide this access to this training. We have a lot of licenses this year to be able to help learners. And if you're curious, we want to talk to you about it, because these licenses, they don't expire. So You could try Coursera out with your learners, or maybe even set up a short amount of time that you would want to engage with certain aspects of the program. And then, you use those licenses, and then after you guys are done learning, you can give them back, and then we can use them for more Missouri citizens. So this is a really great opportunity to be able to make sure that Missouri is getting the learning that we need, and accessing kind of those gap credentials or gateway certifications that help us to be able to be the best in the Midwest. Comptia is our other virtual learning platform. Comptia is our opportunity to offer respected Comptia certifications for free to individuals over the age of 18. We do have actual options for cohort learning for learners that might be under the age of 18. So we're thinking 16, 17, 18. We really want it to be offered more so with those that are really determined and eager to be engaged in employment, so we can help connect them to employment or help them to access their pathway to employment. And that would be all a part of a plan for someone who is maybe under the age of 18. So kind of keep that in mind as I talk about these credentials today. Comptia, those credentials are well recognized. They're in demand. They are able to stack into registered apprenticeships. They're able to be something that's easily recognizable on a resume. You get a lot of leverage whenever you've got the ability to add A+ or Network Plus or Security Plus or Project Plus certifications onto your resume. So we're looking at people who are interested in tech jobs, not just IT. So a tech job might be something that supports a company that's technology based. So, the different types of training that we offer through this, like through Network Plus, it's going to tell an individual what they need to be able to be successful in a tech job that might not necessarily be an information technology specific job. So like maybe somebody is, working for a company and, they're handling all the networking for that company. They're doing it in-house, or they need somebody who's focused on security, cybersecurity. Like all of those options are able to be built into somebody's career path. We also have the unique ability to fold in both Coursera and Comptia into registered apprenticeship programs and build these out as desired by employers. And we'll meet with employers and we'll support growth across the state based off of engagement that's desired by any of the stakeholders on this call and more. Comptia credentials are available to anyone over 18 years of age. We actually have IT fundamentals starting up, and that's really IT foundational skills. IT fundamentals, we'll have cohort learning, so people learn in cohorts. It's not as self-paced, it's more of you have a group that's learning with you. Those will be beginning in March. I think February 28th should be our first orientation actually for those cohorts. And so we're really eager to be able to engage with learners under the age of 18 for those cohorts. So if you are interested in Comptia learning, we want to be able to talk to you and help identify something that would make sense for your audiences that you serve. ITF Plus will be the introduction to basic IT knowledge and skills. This doesn't require any type of previous experience. So that's what we're talking about with the cohort type of learning. The rest of our learning, the other certifications, are all presented in a mentored learning type of environment. And the mentored learning is mostly self-paced, but they have workshops set up that are live workshops either in the morning or the evening to be able to support the learner. So you have an instructor there that you can ask questions to that will go over the curriculum with you. A+ presents core technologies for computer hardware. If you're going to be in desktop support, A+ certification is kind of a must, and you'll see that in a lot of training or in job descriptions. Network Plus, those are going to be the certifications you'll want to see in the person that gets hired for computer networking or who's in charge of being able to make sure that systems can work together, talk together, and don't break down. Security Plus, that is really an entry-level certification for those that are interested in cybersecurity. So people who want to grow on that career pathway, Security Plus is a great place to start. And then we do have Project Plus. It is not a technical like as an IT job, but it does have, it is based on concepts for IT project building. So if people are interested in managing small to medium-sized projects, it is something that could be valuable for someone who's interested in project management. Instead of getting their PMP, they can get their Project Plus. Just an outlook for some of the occupations that we're looking to serve through Apprenticeship Missouri. Tech support specialists for us, total job postings in 2020, 263,123. Average starting salary, 39,000. Median salary is 42,000. So you think about a tech support specialist, that's someone that we could train up with the occupations whenever you are looking at accessing, the A+, if you're looking for somebody who could be able to do Network Plus, you've got these two occupations, networking support specialists and tech support specialists. Cybersecurity, that's where you're going to have that Sec Plus, the support technician, the salary is going to grow as we move more over to the right. So cybersecurity, median salary of 83,000. IT project manager, median salary of 104,000. So that Sec Plus is what we'd be looking at with cybersecurity, and IT project manager would be our Project Plus. These certifications are something that are valued by industry. They're in demand. We could just do a quick search and be able to find that. This data is something that we look at whenever we're making decisions about virtual learning pathways to invest in, the types of learning that we make available to citizens. It does matter what the outcomes are. It does matter what the career pathway can look like for the individuals that we serve. And so by investing in these specific pathways for tech occupations, we're making sure that our citizens can access jobs, even if they might not have the funds to go to college. We're offering this training for free to Missouri citizens. So think about that as you're thinking about even more people that might want to do something like this. Wanted to highlight the other things that are available to connect you to trainings like our virtual learning platforms. So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that, Missouri has 27 full service job centers to provide assistance with training, workshops, resources. We have great WIOA partners out there that are eager to help citizens. We work very hard to maintain relationships and establish relationships with community-based organizations. If there is something that you are curious about, there's probably somebody working within a Missouri Job Center that has an idea on how to access that resource. And so I wanted to make sure I did a quick shout out to Missouri Job Centers and helped you connect ideally in your mind with this as a resource that really can be accessed virtually or in person to provide needs, or to provide for the needs of Missouri citizens who are trying to access their next right thing. So whether that's a post-secondary education pathway, or if that is something like direct access into the workforce, Missouri Job Centers and our virtual learning pathways, all of those are available for Missourians. Some things that can be found with Missouri Job Center assistance: career exploration, career networking, resume preparation, interview process preparation, basic computer skills help, citizen-centered services. So not only do we have these available, online, we have these available through our job centers. So accessing the help that you need shouldn't be hard to do. if you can find the right people to help. At a Missouri Job Center, citizens can access lessons in financial planning, job fairs, local events that are supported by a job center, access to the National Career Readiness Certificate, professional job search assistance, and then how about some access to the technology needed to be able to conduct a job search or to engage in learning. That's all available at a job center as well. Different types of training that might be funded through a job center in Missouri include on-the-job training, occupational skills training, which is traditional schooling, maybe at a community college or such, and apprenticeships. Some workforce boards and job centers are your access to being able to engage in these types of trainings. And so if you're not connected with your job center in your local area, please let us know and we'll be happy to make sure that you do get connected. You absolutely can connect virtually to Missouri Job Centers. You can register on jobs.mo.gov. From there, you could actually chat with a workforce specialist. You can obtain job search assistance. You can do these things virtually. If you maybe don't have access to be able to go in person, you have the option to be able to utilize as much as you can online, because we believe that virtual is a way that many customers are demanding services now. And so that's why you're seeing virtual online platforms. That's why you're seeing us discussing about meeting the individual where they are. So, in speaking of meeting people where they are, there is an app for that. MoJobs Connect is an app that can be utilized to easily help Missouri citizens to connect to employment and training. And it all starts with creating a resume, creating a profile, being able to search for jobs that you might be interested in. This is a pathway that absolutely should be known to every Missourian, but for some reason isn't. Biggest reason is that we don't advertise. And so if you are a stakeholder in Missouri, whenever it comes to career awareness and post-secondary access, you need to know about Missouri Job Centers and the MoJobs Connect app and Missouri Apprentice Connect and all the things that help get people to that next place that they need to be. So really the presentation today is hoping that we can increase your awareness of all these things that are available and encourage you to use them. And this isn't, just a MoJobs Connect app being for other people. Like, this is Missouri citizens. Like, this is what's here for you to be able to connect to your next move or help you to be able to access the content that you need to help the people that you serve. We do have positioned throughout the state an employer relations and engagement team. And this ERE team actually is the connection in various areas of the state to be able to help you, be able to connect you to job opportunities that are around, or to be able to connect to job center services. The ERE team is engaging specifically with groups that serve youth, including Jobs for America's graduates, including some job fairs at school districts. They are really our team that can help connect to job center services, apprenticeship, things that maybe you want to ask some more questions of. They are a great resource. We'd like to encourage you to connect more. Feel free to visit the Missouri Job Center site, jobs.mo.gov. If you or anyone you know and love is interested in receiving free virtual online training, virtual learning platform training, Coursera could be the key to that. Jobs.mo.gov/content/Coursera is where you can access the first portal and getting registered for Coursera. Whenever you go through that portal, there'll be an apply button. You can click on it and fill out the form that lets us know that you're interested. And we'll be able to make contact with you through our team of virtual learning specialists. Those virtual learning specialists will reach out to you, get you registered, and help you explore around your options. They really serve as success coaches to help individuals through their content through Coursera and Comptia. If you are interested in Comptia, you have jobs.mo.gov/content/Comptia. If anyone that you know is interested, it's the same portal. But of course, since you're listening to me on this call, feel free to email me. My email will be up next. And then Apprentice Connect, please check out Mo Apprentice Connect. On there, we have postings from employers, from registered apprenticeship sponsors that really want to connect to the workforce and offer up a lot of opportunities. These websites right here, really great to check out to kind of feel out and understand if these are the best options for people that you serve. We think that freedom of choice is important whenever it comes to somebody's meaningful life. So if you don't ever tell somebody about that these exist, then you're not giving them all of their options in life. So these are some of the things that we want to help people be able to access. And this is my contact information. I'm Gina Caldwell at Apprenticeship Missouri. This is gina.caldwell@dude.mo.gov. And we really would love to hear from you. If you're interested in having a get together, we can actually talk with you and your organization about building out a specific curation for Coursera. Community-based organizations are a target audience for us. So even any after-school programs or even organizations that might be on here that might wonder, well, I wonder if they got something for us. Oh, we absolutely do. So if you'd like to follow up and be able to talk about how we could build out customized content in Coursera, please reach out to me. We are eager to do that. We've been meeting with groups just one after the other, building up some customized curations within Coursera that offer learning that's specific to the needs of a community-based organization or certain learners. So really is a great thing to do. We're also building out customized curations for registered apprenticeship sponsors and those who are interested in apprenticeships. These curations can be folded right into the RTI. So the first step in discovering, is any of this something that would work for me, is probably by scheduling, a one-on-one session with me and my team. So we look forward to working with any of you and available for questions at any time.
Thank you, Gina. Would you be willing to put your contact information in the chat?
Yes.
Fabulous. Might be a quicker way. And does anyone have any questions? Gina, you had a question if the PowerPoint is available after the session.
Yes, I have the PowerPoint available.
Fantastic.
As a matter of fact, she just sent it to me just before the session, so I'll make sure that it's available for those who want it. So those of you who registered for it, we'll make sure you get her presentation.
And the recordings will be available too. Is that correct, Mark? So if there's this
Yes.
information you want to share with any of your colleagues, that would be a good place to direct them to.
Kirby, you have a question for Gina? What are some custom plans you've created in the past?
So right now we're working with WeCode KC, and we've had a meeting with Boys and Girls Club in Kansas City to build out a curation there too. But specifically me with apprenticeship, I've engaged with 3 employers that have very specific industries. One was in manufacturing, but then another one was in the film industry. We were able to build customized curations for them to consider building into their registered apprenticeship. And you know, the thing about these curations that have been very good is that, you know, once we build them, you can have your own landing page on the Coursera website, and then your learners can access your learning immediately. And you can even serve as an admin if you desire to, or we can take on that role for you. And so the virtual learning platform, especially for Coursera, has been a great option to be able to engage people kind of with what they need. And if like the whole content of access to everything is more than what they need, we can help trim it down into a specific curation. So like the manufacturer that we are helping, they actually were able to combine the Coursera content with their own safety training to build out their RTI for the registered apprenticeship program.
Gina, and you might have covered this and I might have missed it, but what are your either target ages or kind of your age range for an apprenticeship program for the students or the youth?
So with apprenticeship, anybody can be an apprentice from 16 and above. So we can't go lower than 16, but with registered apprenticeship, we do have, you know, a lot of options to engage with youth, and we do with DESE leading the charge on youth registered apprenticeships. We have a lot of activity, actually well known for that in the nation. So really proud of DESE and the work that they've done. The ability to serve individuals through our WIOA opportunities. So that's our funded opportunities like these virtual learning platforms or through Missouri Job Centers. Youth have to meet specific barriers. So that's something that we have to discuss if the individuals we want to work into a project might be under the age of 18.
That is a great question, Beth, and I want to follow that up. Gina, I think you and I have talked about this, and even some of the other folks on the call may be able to address it. But one of the things, I know we heard Najma talk about it in the opening session, but it's also been a conversation piece in other circles. What are you hearing about paid internships and apprenticeships for youth? Is that coming, or is that happening in some places around the state? And when I say for youth, I'm talking about those 16 and ups.
Yeah, so, you know, paid work experiences is also another thing that's available through our Missouri Job Center network. So we've got, you know, our WIOA youth programs that have paid work experience even. But paid internships is something that I've always been a fan of. Definitely something I've always advocated for. I think that it should exist. And paid youth apprenticeships is absolutely what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the work of DESE and Dr. Oscar Carter, Cynthia Walker, and the things that they have been able to do to build up, you know, community partnerships with our CTE providers. So our career tech ed providers a lot of times already have connections to employers. And so they really open up pathways for registered youth apprenticeship through those partnerships that they already have. And we're able to put the framework of apprenticeship around that to great results, because it puts that student to work automatically. They're earning and learning. They're having the opportunity to still learn with their peers in the classroom, but then they're connecting to the workforce immediately, even before graduation. It's really a win-win because we're helping to meet a need of a local community with a workforce that's well trained. And so I can't say enough about that.
Okay, I noticed in the chat box, Kirby just had one additional follow-up question. Was wondering, you had mentioned Boys and Girls Clubs, but have you worked with any 4-H groups?
I have not met with any 4-H groups, and I don't think we've had any inquiries yet. So Kirby, if you want to be one of the first, let us know.
Especially down there in McDonald County, Kirby. Aren't you down there? Aren't you in the far southwest corner?
That's correct. Yeah, I'm in
Yeah.
McDonald County. So, and we have a fun group of kids to work with here.
I think, and that section of the state, especially that in Newton County, there's some really cool things beginning to happen down there and some opportunities for some real partnerships there. So yeah, I think you be a little bit of a spark there, and we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, I'd definitely be interested. I have your email and stuff written down, all your information.
Yeah, let's connect. Definitely interested. We have team members all across the states and connections, and we know what's going on. So let's get kids connected.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Insurance for workers, will that be the responsibility of the schools or the employer? It's an employer. They're actually employed by an employer. So that's what we'd be looking at. The employer takes on that responsibility. They're able to go on they have to pay for for workman's comp, all of that. They're a real worker. And so it's different than any type of, internship or job shadowing, or like where they're not really, on the clock. If you're an apprentice, then you are a real worker, and you should have all of the benefits of an actual worker. And then if employer's insurance company isn't able to cover someone under the 18, sometimes that restricts them from being able to engage younger workers. But my friends at DESE are always willing to tell them that if your insurance company doesn't cover them, somebody else's insurance company would probably do that. So maybe it's a fight to take up with your insurance if you have that big of a need for a workforce, which I know that everyone does.
Yeah, Gina, I noticed that Joyce said she is definitely interested in talking to you more. So you two can definitely connect.
Yeah, anyone who's interested in talking about career readiness, what we're doing at the states, and kind of what our outlook is, we're able to engage, locally, because we have representation all across the state and people who are able to help. So please reach out. We'll get you connected.
All right. Any other questions for Gina? So we're not going to keep you hanging on if we've gotten everything talked about we need to. And Gina, if you've covered all your information, any other questions or thoughts?
I just want to encourage people to reach out, even if you're, thinking that, well, I think my students are too young for this, but like not all your family members are, not all your people in your different groups you're a member of are, your friends, your family. These are opportunities for all Missourians. So it's either kitchen table conversations, cafeteria table conversations, workplace conversations. We can even, work with employers that want to maybe engage in something that helps their staff develop more professionally. So if you're a leader within your organization and you want to offer some sort of training to your staff, you're thinking that maybe they need some, maybe even essential skills training or those power skills. There's a lot of options with Coursera, and we're happy to meet with you about that as well.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Gina. Attending these sessions, it's great because I know I always learn something that I didn't already know. And so just that this organization is out there and the services and assistance they provide, it's great. And we need to take advantage of that. And I know on our end with the after school network, I know Mark and then Aaron as well will be keeping a focus on these kind of resources and putting that out there. The challenge to everyone on this call, attending this session is to deliberately think about how you can possibly use what Gina and her organization have to offer. So instead of just going, oh yeah, that was, good information, good to know that that's out there, what are you going to do in the next, day, and, to make a connection and see how you can utilize that resource that they provide, because it's pretty amazing. So I would encourage that, and, take advantage of these things that are out there for us to use in our environment. It's amazing. So, Gina, if you don't have anything else, and if there aren't any other questions, we're finishing a little bit early, and that is perfectly okay, because that just gives everyone a little bit of time before our day continues. If she hasn't already, yep, she has. Beth is so on it. She has just put in the chat box a link for an evaluation for this session. So you've certainly got some time to do that before you have to be in our next session. So if you would please do an evaluation, just let us know your thoughts, because that's how we continue to improve what we provide. So click on that link. We will continue the day with the lunch and learn that Mark, I think, mentioned earlier in the opening session. And that link, and again, Beth is right on top of it. So she's got that information posted as well. That starts at 11:40. And all the session links, including the lunch and learn and the breakout sessions and all that, are in the CAPSA Symposium link, that information page that you should have gotten after you registered, but we've got it posted up there as well. So if you go to that link that Beth posted, that will take you back to that symposium page that has the links for everything else going on today. Hopefully we'll see you all at the lunch and learn at 11:40. If you can make that, it'll be good. And then we'll continue with our afternoon breakout sessions after that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. If there's any last minute thoughts or questions, you can throw those out there, because again, we're ahead of time. Otherwise, we'll see you at one of our next sessions.